Because that's not okay.
So, today I'd like to talk about one piece of jewelry that caused the downfall of the largest empire during the 1500 to 1600, which is the Spanish Empire. And as you can see over there, these are two half sisters. And I don't know why they call them also second cousins. I don't know why that is, but on the left is Queen Elizabeth, and on the right is Queen Mary. One of them has a nickname of Bloody Mary, and you know what's going to happen here. And the other one has a nickname of the Virgin Queen, and I don't know why, but that's the name. If you can see on her neck piece of Queen Elizabeth, there is a necklace which contains the largest natural pearl on earth. So King Charles II, which is the king of the Spanish Empire, is giving to Queen Mary on her wedding the largest pearl that is natural that exists on earth. It is 65 carats. So I brought you a sample of what is a 65 carats looking like. You can pass it around. This is the size of La Peregrina, and these are the largest pearls that I carry in my store, which look like midgets compared to this one.
Can you hold them in front of the camera too?
Anyway, I will continue with my story. And Queen Elizabeth is really jealous that her sister got this pearl and she didn't get it. Queen Elizabeth is also involved into some piracy and nipping from the Spanish Empire the gold and silver that's coming from South America and Central America. Eventually, Queen Elizabeth is feeling threatened by the Scottish Queen, Queen Mary. Queen Mary is Catholic, and Queen Elizabeth is Protestant, and they don't like to compete or to be together in the same place. So somehow Queen Elizabeth kills Queen Mary. He hates her, and that's why Bloody Mary. And the pearl is transferred to Queen Elizabeth. King Charles II of Spain is pissed, or as the Scots say it, pissed. And he is deforesting all of Spain from all the trees and making an armada of 130 ships. Does anybody know how many vessels we have in the U.S. Navy today? We have 450 vessels only. So can you imagine at that time, 1558, to make an armada of 130 ships, big ships, and all of them are coated with steel, and they are going to invade England because he is sick and tired of Queen Elizabeth and her boyfriend nipping at his ships, taking the gold, and her killing his granddaughter and taking the pearl. On 1558, King Charles II releases the Armada from Lisbon, Portugal, to go and protect the channel. So his soldiers are already in the Netherlands. Netherlands at that time was a Spanish colony. They conquered it, and he's going to transfer 20,000 soldiers into the British island and invade Britain and take over. The Pope is excited like crazy. Finally, we're going to get rid of any other religion in Christianity that doesn't comply with Catholicism. And the Pope is supporting it tremendously. Same thing with the French. The French also hate the British, so they are in cahoots with that. Unfortunately, Sir Francis Drake, which is Queen Elizabeth's boyfriend, is a great seaman and a smart guy. Why? Can you turn to the next? This is La Peregrina, and this is the way Queen Elizabeth I did not wear it. The one on the right is Queen Elizabeth I. The one on the left is Elizabeth, the wife of Richard Burton, that he got it for her. Next, okay, here's the Armada. This is the Spanish Armada. They carry 2 rows of cannons on each side. They have 2,000 soldiers in each boat, and they have an unbelievable firepower. Next. Okay, this is the way the Spaniards are going into a moon quest to protect themselves, and this is how the English are on the right picking up on them. Next. Okay, this is a English frigate, much smaller, only 1 row of guns, faster. The Armada does maximum 10 knots per hour. The English frigate does 20 knots per hour. Another thing the English have that the Spaniards don't have, they have longer range cannons. They meet on the channel, and the British are nipping at them. The Spanish were thinking they're going to go frontal with each other, but the English are not stupid. They're coming from the back and they're nipping them. So at night, there's a huge storm, and the Spanish are going into Calais to park their boats, and the British are trying to find a way to get rid of this moon quest of structure, so they can break them apart and get rid of each boat separately. So at Calais, the British, after midnight, send 8 boats full of oil, tar, and gunpowder into Calais, and they burn the Spanish Armada, and they create such a chaos that a lot of the Armada cut the anchors and sailed away. So once you cut your anchor, you cannot stop anywhere, and you're just being a drifter. And whatever is left of the Spanish Armada, they kept on going around England, all the way to Scotland, and back to Spain. And on the way, many of them died because there was no provisions, or many of them crashed their boats. And that's the end of the Spanish kingdom, all because of La Peregrina. Does anybody knows what La Peregrina means in language?
It's a falcon, isn't it?
I'm sorry?
A falcon?
No, Peregrina is actually a wanderer, because the Peregrina started in Panama, where it was found by a slave. It was bought as a present to King Charles II to Spain. From Spain, it went to England. And then, after they won all this war, they did a peace contract with the Spanish and gave them back the pearl. This is yours, okay, take it. The pearl, after that, was conquered by Napoleon. Napoleon gave his brother Spain to rule. His brother took the Peregrina. Peregrina went to the Austrian Empire, and after a while, somehow it was bought and brought to the United States of America, and the Hamilton family owned it. The Hamilton family got into some financial troubles, and they sold it to Richard Burton. Richard Burton gave it to Elizabeth, his wife. Can we keep it going? I want to show you the map. Here is the map of the Spanish Armada coming from Lisbon, going throughout here, and in Calais being finished. And then they went up north, whoever was left, and hardly any of them made it back to Spain. Next. Here we are. So from Queen Elizabeth I to Elizabeth Taylor, the Peregrina is owned up till 3 years ago by Elizabeth Taylor. After she died, the pearl was sold in Christie's. Can anybody guess how much it was sold for? $11.8 million. Nobody knows who bought it, but the rumor is that it's a doctor here in Cumming that is driving a Bentley. So, the uniqueness of the Peregrina is that it's very hard to find a natural pearl. A natural pearl is being created by a seed of sand going into the oyster, and the oyster slowly puts nacre on it to protect it, to protect itself from the roughness of the seed. So this, to make from a seed of sand something like this, and in a teardrop shape, perfect, I would say it should take at least 100 years for the oyster to make this. So it's a very rare and very well thought of pearl. Nowadays, we mostly use culture pearls, which we take shells from the Tennessee River and crush them and make balls out of them and embed them into the oyster and let the oyster knuckle up the little ball. So those are culture pearls. This is what you see here. This is culture pearl, and that's why you saw the price on it is only $450. And on the bottom here, these pearls are natural, and that's why you see it for double the price. And if anybody wants to know a little bit more of this, these pearls were owned by the sister of the prime minister of the Philippines, and she sold it to me. She lives in Johns Creek. It's a true story. So this is my story of the La Peregrina and how one pearl caused a change of history in our world. Questions?
Wow.
Anything. Doesn't have to be about the topic only, but anything.
Is there a quality difference between the pearls? The culture and the,
Okay, the culture will last you about 20 years. The natural will last you 2,000 years. Eventually, the lacquer will wear off, and you'll get to the Tennessee River concussion.
Wow.
So I've seen pearls with like turquoise, like maybe they put turquoise in an oyster and built around it, and
I mean, turquoise could be hanging next to it or something, but not together.
so it's a round thing that they've engraved through the pearl
Yes,
to show
yes.
turquoise. Is that a pearl or is that something else?
It's a culture pearl probably that they glued on a turquoise.
So, any questions online? We see 2 comments. Carter says, "Great presentation, Izzy,"
Thank you, Carter,
and
all the best to your daughter.
David says, "Great story."
Thank you. And tell David that he should call me because I'm trying to move my account to his bank.
You,
And I left so many messages on his cell phone.
you just got a thumbs up. He'll call you. Oh, there was another slide. A better close-up of the necklace.
Yes, here it is. This is what Elizabeth did. A little also for you to know is in Caesar's palace, she lost the Peregrina. She went to touch it, and the Peregrina was lost. And she went back to her room to run away from Richard so he won't see this, and looked all over, and she hears a little, what do you call King Charles Cavalier? Chewing on something, and she opened his mouth. He was chewing the pearl.
Oh,
But because it's natural, it didn't help. If it was cultural, you'd see all the scratches on it.
wow.
How come nobody knows who owns it now?
Okay, can you?
How come nobody knows who owns it now?
No, if we knew who owns it,
Yeah.
how many people would come after him? Or hijack his children or whatever, you know? You know, it's a crazy world, you know?
So Izzy knows he's just not
When-
telling.
When his estate goes to sell it, you know, like one day it might go back to the auction and then it'll be found again.
Listen, there's so many things and so many paintings and so many things that out there that we don't know. Always going to be a great story, you know? It depends which station is going to take it, you know? Some of them don't like to take real stories.
Thank you so much, Izzy.